We welcome in our man from the broom closet at 95.7 The Game in San Francisco, the Prince of Niners Wire, the host of Candlestick Chronicles, host 95.7 The Game in San Francisco. He's Kyle Madson. Kyle, what's good, buddy?
Hey, what's good is being on this show with you guys.
That's solid.
There's nothing I like more than this.
That's love.
Not like at all?
Nothing in this line of work that I like more than this.
That narrows it down a little bit, but I got you.
There's 13 things that I like more than this overall. Top 15's not bad.
Will you tweet all 13 when we're finished?
Boy, no, because they're not all worthy of being on Twitter.
Very good.
Nice.
All right. Well,
Nice.
You asked, man.
we know what number one is, so we will keep it moving.
Pizza.
Obviously.
It needs to be a Pizza Friday. I know that much.
I thought the fam shut Pizza Friday down.
I'm bringing it back. To hell with them.
All right. Kenny Caraway, to hell with my family. If I want pizza on a Friday, I'm going to have pizza on a Friday. I'm with it. Trey Lance starting. I was listening to you and Chris Biederman this morning on Candlestick Chronicles. It felt like everybody kind of knew that was going to be the direction they were going, given that Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't, throw or push off his leg. I mean, so those are probably some pretty important things when it comes to playing football. How much of this? A couple of questions here as it pertains to Trey Lance, but we'll start with this one. How much does this week of preparation help compared to the situation that he was put in last week?
It's going to make all the difference. The fact that they're going to I don't think we're going to recognize the 49ers offense on Sunday. Yeah, I think they're going to strip it down just for now. Like, I don't think the offense we're going to see Sunday is the offense they're going to want to run long term, but they know what Trey Lance is good at and what he's not good at. And if the coaching staff is worth a damn, which I think it is, they're going to make sure that they're playing to his strengths, which I think right now means we're going to see an offense that looks a lot like the one that Washington ran in Robert Griffin III's rookie year. Run heavy, taking advantage of the fact that their quarterback can make plays with his legs, and then designing throws down the field off of play action. So the throws I think we see those little designed kind of easy throws on the play action boots and all that. But I also think we see some deeper shots where they take advantage of his bigger arms. So I think the fact that they're going to be able to install that game plan all week and he's going to get those reps, and the receivers too, this is the biggest thing. On those scramble drills against Seattle, when the pocket broke down and he got outside of it, the receivers weren't breaking off their routes and getting back to him. When he broke to the right, Deebo Samuel was keeping his route to the left, for example. So I think having a chance for the receivers to work on that throughout the week is going to be a big deal, because I think there's a chance for them to make some big plays on those scramble drills.
Do you think that Kyle Shanahan knew this all along, as far as Jimmy's not going to be able to go, it's going to be Trey Lance? Or do you think he was really holding out hope that Jimmy Garoppolo would start on Sunday?
No, I think they knew right away. In fact, I think the tell was in Jimmy Garoppolo's post-game press conference, he said, "I'm hoping it's only a couple of weeks or something," which to me, he said that in response to a question of if it was a torn Achilles. So my guess is immediately after the game, or at some point during the game, he got a test and the trainer said, "It's not your Achilles. Your Achilles is there. It's not the Achilles, but you probably strained something. You're probably looking at a couple weeks." Because what do players say if they get hurt and they go to the podium after the game and they go, "Hey, it looked like you were kind of holding your arm funny." They always go, "I'm fine. Like, I'm good. I'm good to go." No player ever says, "Yeah, hopefully I'm only out a couple weeks." Somebody told him he was going to miss time. Right. And I think the 49ers were just trying to make sure that Arizona was maybe spending at least a little bit of time game planning for Garoppolo. I think they've known since last week.
Okay, which brings up the next question. Does anyone think that Arizona spent time game planning for Jimmy Garoppolo?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think that it's a lot easier because he's so limited, it's a lot easier to game plan for Trey Lance. Like, hey, we're going to defend zone reads and we're going to defend read options. And here's all the things that we think he's going to do. And then if Garoppolo plays, it's like, all right, well, hey, just defend a 10-yard box between the hashes and we're all set.
Well, I was going to say, to be fair, in the 15 seconds that we talked to Josh out in Arizona, he did say, like, yeah, they were kind of preparing for Jimmy Garoppolo as well. Like, what you would want to happen in that situation happened. Like, they had to prepare for Jimmy and take a look at Trey. So, I don't know. Maybe it worked. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much those things work in general.
Is that really a big deal?
Right. I can't imagine Cliff Kingsbury goes to the podium after the 49ers win 24-16 and goes, you know what? If we just hadn't spent that time game planning for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think we would have had this one. That's not happening. So I think it's just NFL coaches, they want every little tiny edge. And okay, if they spent 30 minutes working on Jimmy Garoppolo specific things, that's 30 minutes that they weren't spending on Trey Lance. So,
okay,
it's little edges. Game of inches.
Question in the back. What exactly is game planning for Jimmy Garoppolo?
That's what I'm getting at. Like, you just formation tendencies. Formation tendencies, where he likes to go with the ball in certain situations.
3 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's what I said. You just stack it inside the 10 yards within the hash marks. Safeties you can cheat up because you're probably not going to get beat deep.
It sounds easy.
It does. Doesn't require a lot of creativity from Vance Joseph, their defensive coordinator.
No. So another thing that came out of this game, it's not official just yet, but looks like George Kittle's not going to play. And I kind of read the tea leaves there. You got this game here. He's not 100%. You got the bye coming up after that. You can still 2 weeks of recovery for George Kittle. It's always an issue when George Kittle doesn't play, but does Trey Lance kind of miss a security blanket now without George Kittle there? Or did it seem like in the times that he did play, he didn't even really look that much to George Kittle anyway?
Yeah. And the fact that his first throw against the Seahawks was like the easiest throw in Kyle Shanahan's offense. On that play action boot, George Kittle goes with him and he stuffed it in the ground 3 yards away. Like, that was tough.
Yeah.
No, I think the bigger issue is not so much not having that security blanket, because I think Deebo Samuel can be that. Honestly, like, Ross Dwelly isn't going to create explosive plays the way George Kittle does. But when he had to fill in for Kittle in 2019, he did a nice job. He finds soft spots in zones and he sits down and he's going to make the catch. Like, he's not going to go anywhere after the catch, but he's going to catch it. So I think that'll be fine. The bigger issue is that element of a linebacker or a safety has to make a choice when George Kittle starts to run block on a play action. They don't have to now think as much about defending Kittle if he does come off that block to go run around. You know what I'm saying? Like, that versatility and his ability to create explosive plays in the passing game, losing that's what's harmful for the 49ers. Because now, if it's Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelly in a 2 tight end set instead of Kittle and Dwelly, it's easier for the defense to attack San Francisco's offense at that point, because there's less danger coming from the tight end spots.
Which also leads me to ask Kyle Shanahan, what Kenny just mentioned, he's doubtful. George Kittle's doubtful for this weekend. So with that, their run game is not there. Like, it's not hitting. Like, it's not working. Now you're potentially moving. You just laid out the scenario with Kittle as a run blocker, or now you have like bad on bad. And of course, Trey Lance hopefully can add a little bit, to the run game as well. But there are flaws. There are issues, I think, with this team outside of the quarterback position. We've been focused on Jimmy Garoppolo. We've been focused on Trey Lance coming in, but there are problems. There are other flaws with this team. There are other flaws with the offense. And I think the run game is a big part of it. Now with Kittle potentially out, is Trey Lance enough to offset it and make it better? And kids, when you grow up, don't ask long-winded questions like this. It's like I started a question and didn't know how the hell to get to the end of it, but you're nodding your head, so I think you got the gist of what I was trying to say.
It sounded like you were asking if there are bigger problems with the 49ers offense than the quarterback situation.
See, that's how you ask a question right there.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure
that's why you're great at what you do.
So, yeah, there are for sure. But I think 2 things about the run game. One, Elijah Mitchell coming back, and I know that sounds silly for a 6th-round rookie to be an impact playmaker, but he has. I called him when they drafted him. I called him like off-brand Raheem Mostert. He has that
Kirkland.
speed to get to the edge. Kirkland brand. I didn't know where sponsorships were. I didn't want to shout out.
Well, we called you Kirkland Kyle earlier this week. I know you're a big fan of Kirkland.
I do love a Kirkland product, bro. So Mostert has that speed to get to the edge. He can break tackles. We saw it in the Lions game. That his 43-yard touchdown against the Lions was like a peak Raheem Mostert. Get to the edge, find the hole, get through it, break a tackle, gone. And so I think him returning is going to help their run game a lot. But also, and Chris Biederman, my partner on Candlestick Chronicles, brought this up. He thinks that, and I agree with him, Trey Sermon was drafted to play with Trey Lance in that inside zone read option scheme where he's lined up in the back end of the pistol and he's going to take that. He's going to either take the handoff or Lance is.
Oh,
it's not our day.
Nobody.
He's probably still talking. He has no idea he's frozen either.
Nobody wants to talk.
Boy, tough.
It's just he's back. It's just
okay.
It's a tough day for D'Lo and KC.
Trace in the pistol.
I'm going to truncate this. He's better at running inside than he is running outside. Yes. And so being in the pistol with Lance is going to help Trey Sermon and as a result, the 49ers run game.
So that's it's interesting you say that because I agree. Because I mentioned earlier how I think, well, if Kyle Shanahan had it how he'd want Raheem Mostert there. But if you don't have Raheem Mostert, that's when he has these 3 or 4 different running backs that do different things. Right, you got Trey Sermon if you want to run in between the tackles. You have Hastings and Elijah Mitchell when you want to do your toss and your sweeps and things of that nature. Well, one of the issues I felt with Trey Sermon, and his performance being out there is he was kind of thrust as being the only back into doing things that he's not good at, like the tosses and the sweeps. And I think to your point, getting Elijah Mitchell back now, Kyle can kind of have those running backs specifically in for the runs that they're good at, whether it's Trey up the middle, Elijah out to the edges.
Yeah, I think that's 100% spot on. I think they were brought in to play together. Raheem Mostert's in the last year of his contract. I think they were specifically brought in because they are different styles of backs and they're designing an offense around Trey Lance. And I think we're going to see that on Sunday, or at least parts of it.
I think there's Kyle Madson with us here on D'Lo and KC on ESPN 1320. I think there's multiple schools of thought here, but what do you think the impact of the bye week is on Trey Lance?
That depends a lot on how he plays Sunday. Because I'm of the mind that, and I'm going to write about this in NinersWire.com, but I'm of the mind that this is like a perfect scenario for Kyle Shanahan. Because not that he would root for Jimmy Garoppolo to be hurt. You never want to see a player hurt, but it's a minor injury that he should be back from after the bye week, it sounds like. Like he was going to try and play this week, gets this week off, gets the bye week. But what this allows Kyle Shanahan to do is start Trey Lance. And if Lance plays well, the Niners don't even have to win. If he looks good and plays well and looks like he improved by playing that second half against Seattle, getting the first team reps during the week, and then getting 4 quarters of live football against the Cardinals, and he looks better. Now they can continue with Lance because his messaging the entire time, we've gotten so wrapped up in who's the starter, who's QB1. His messaging the entire time is Jimmy Garoppolo's QB1, Trey Lance is QB2, and we're going to go with the quarterback that gives us the best chance to win. That who gives us the best chance to win? That's been his thing the whole time. So if Lance goes out and plays well, he can now go into the bye week and get Lance another week, well, A, some time off, but B, some time to get integrated into the offense and expand the offense a little bit more. And then go into week 7 saying, we think Trey now gives us the best chance to win. If he doesn't play well, or if he struggles and they just don't think that, he's really not ready, then they can go back to Garoppolo because Shanahan said today, Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter. The backup is starting this game. So he's laying that out just in case Lance isn't very good. They can just go back to Garoppolo. His messaging isn't off. There's no controversy. He's sticking to what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But if Lance plays well, he can go back to his, now that he showed that he gives us the best chance to win.
Interesting. And I agree with everything you're saying there. Kyle, maybe I'm being a little bit of an S starter here. And I want to know if maybe you saw the same thing that I saw. Did Deebo Samuels look a little overly excited and happy to have that touchdown reception to Trey Lance and to celebrate with Trey Lance? Or am I just making something up?
That's really funny you said that, because I was watching the Deebo Samuel mic'd up, and maybe this is what inspired your thought as well. But the way
I hadn't seen this, by the way. I didn't see the mic'd up, so yeah.
He gives the let's go, and then there's like silence from him swearing. I kind of had a little bit that same thought. It reminded me of Jim Harbaugh's reaction when Colin Kaepernick hit Kyle Williams against the Bears in his first start. And Kyle Williams ran like that deep post, and Kaepernick connects on it. And Harbaugh went ballistic on the side. Like Dr. Frankenstein's monster just came to life. And that's a little bit what the Deebo Samuel thing felt like.
Yeah.
Like this kind of just frustration, because if you're Deebo, and again, we're going with this theory. I don't know if it's true, but we're going to roll with that theory. If you're Deebo, you've been running these in-breaking routes all year where you're just getting crushed because the safety can fly downhill because they know that you're not going to beat them over the top. And so he just time after time is having to make these tough contested catches. But this time he was able to get down the field. The quarterback found him and hit him. It wasn't a great throw, but I think Lance was just trying to make sure he got it there. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of an element to that, but that's just, again, total speculation just based on his celebration. It looked like he was letting out some frustration for how it had gone. But it's tough to be like he's leading the league in receiving yards. It's not like he was having a bad year and now all of a sudden he's going to start.
This is true.
And that's it. It is fantastic too that Deebo's leading the league in receiving yards, because he's had to catch the ball from somebody, but yet we continuously criticize Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, well, at least he's finding one guy who could potentially be really dominant. How about the opponent of the 49ers this week, the Cardinals? They're 4-0, big win against the Rams. Is this, are they different than last year? Do they have are they significantly better? What's your vibe with the Cardinals right now, 4 weeks into the season?
I'm not all the way in yet because I'm not buying the Titans. I don't think the Titans are that good. So, a dominant road win over the Titans is nice, but it's not this crazy, like, whoa, put that one on the wall win. Sure. Then they should have lost to the Vikings. Like, they straight up. They should have. The Vikings missed a chip shot field goal at the end of that game, and they gave up, I think, 33 points. Although the Vikings offense is pretty good. Then they struggled for more than a half against the Jags. That can't happen. And then they had a really nice win against the Rams. And that's why, division games are weird, but when you go dominate a really good Rams team the way they did, you have to buy it a little bit. So no, I think the Cardinals are good, but I'm not ready to put them at the top as the division favorites yet. But if Kyler Murray's playing the way, like, it's the Russell Wilson factor in, like, who cares about their defense? Their defense is generating turnovers right now.
Your internet in San Francisco is generating a turnover as well. Don't ever let anyone tell you have to work in a big market. I'm just saying. Danny in San Francisco could have at least left the office unlocked for you to do the hit from there. But and I love it. It froze again, but at least it froze with you smiling that time.
So I think the Cardinals are good, and they're going to be good as long as Kyler Murray's running around, but I'm not ready to make them the favorites in the NFC West yet.
I love that Kyle's the professional one out of the three. He's like, my computer's going to freeze, and I'm going to finish my
bad. I feel bad.
That's not your fault. That's not your fault. If Danny in San Francisco will pay the bill. If Danny in San Francisco will get an upgrade out there in at 95.7 the game, we'd be okay, but it happens.
Kyle, can I ask you a question? Because I feel like I might be alone on the island here. Might be on an island here. There seems to be this perception that the 49ers defense and secondary is just terrible. I think they played pretty damn good all season long, to be honest with you. Aside from the first half against the Packers, that's really been about it. Now, they've had some issues with defensive pass interference penalties, but I don't think the defense has been that bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to hang out on that island with you. Their linebackers have not been good in coverage. Their secondary is really not good. But their pass rush.
Not to cut you off, what's not good though? Because they're not giving up yards and they're not really giving up points. So what's not good?
I don't think that what they're doing defensively is sustainable. There's a lot of guys running wide open. And we saw it with the Seahawks. The Seahawks just kind of started getting whatever they wanted once the Niners pass rush started failing. And the Niners pass rush has not been consistently good. It's been good in spurts, but it has not been consistent. Their pass rush win rate is not good, where they're pressuring the quarterback. Their pressure rate, I should say, is not good. So no, their secondary hasn't been like as bad as I think we thought it might be. But I just look at long term. If Fred Warner and Azeez Al-Shire are going to be, average to below average in coverage, that's going to be an issue. And if their pass rush isn't getting home, eventually against the really good teams, they're going to start to get exposed. But I mean, to this point, they haven't been like the worst defense in the league. But there's no. Let me put it this way: the path I see them on is being more of a bottom third defense than a top third defense by the end of the year. That's my thought anyway.
Interesting.
How do the 49ers win this game? Like, what has to be executed for them to walk out of Sunday with a win?
Kyler Murray gets sick. But just like the generic flu, and has to sit out. would help. No, I just think that okay, the real answer.
So I'm going to guess you don't think the 49ers are winning this game.
I don't.
Like this, Damien. You thought I was just making it up when I said people said the 49ers have no chance. They out there.
No, I don't think they have no chance. If they had no chance, I would say don't go to Arizona, take the L and ice up. But the way they win is by just don't show up. The way they win
we're good.
is by here we go. 3, 2, and 1. They run the football and they run it like 40 plus times.
Wow.
Oh my.
And they keep Kyler Murray on the sideline.
Wow.
And they put Arizona in a position. They get a couple turnovers.
Perfect time for another turnover, which is something that's not happening with the San Francisco 49ers. Brutal. They're not getting turnovers. They haven't been able to force turnovers since is it week 1, Kyle? They haven't been able to get a turnover since week 1.
Dre Greenlaw had their only interception of the year, their only takeaway of the year, and subsequently hurt his groin on the interception and is now on IR.
Well, they paid for it.
Yeah, they did. They paid for it. Yeah, so if they run the ball and just control time of possession and just play that game and force Arizona to become one-dimensional and make it where Kyler Murray's 8, 10, 12-yard scrambles aren't killing you, and they're just eating clock, then I think you do that. But if they have to get in a shootout with Arizona where Trey Lance has to throw it 30, 35, 40 times, I think that's where you start to get in a little bit of trouble.
Kind of like what they did last year to beat Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
NBA is a wild place, man. Shams just tweeted, New York City has determined the Brooklyn Nets practice facility is a private office building, clearing Kyrie Irving to practice at home. Oh, man. Who placed that call?
Well, technically, are they lying?
It's called a training center.
Yeah, but only certain people can get in. That's kind of the definition of private, right?
I gotta go to the office.
Well, I don't know. That's hard to say. I've been to the Celtics one, and it has like a private area for them, and then a very public area. I don't know if that's what Brooklyn is.
It's like a real gym, right?
Right. It's a gym, hospital, like the whole thing. So yeah, I don't know if that what Brooklyn. Well, that sure changes the dynamic a little bit now that Kyrie can suddenly practice at home. But
I wonder if LA is going to let the Lakers practice because they don't care about the Clippers. Didn't even mention them.
They don't care about the Clippers. No, they don't.
The Lakers practice facility is a private office, but the Clippers isn't.
Kyle, we appreciate you and your internet at 95.7 The Game in San Francisco. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Take care, Kyle.
The internet is less elite than Buddy Hield is at shooting.
Damn.
There he is. Wow, there he is. Okay, talk about a hit and run.